review. Book one is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. She is the author of two books, You Left Me, God Bless Me, and of course, No Longer Silence. None other than Maze Kalise White.
Yes.
Welcome, Miss Kalise on Book 101 Review. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Yes. So I am Kalise White. I am a author. I'm a motivational speaker, an entrepreneur, and I also advocate for trauma, like a trauma advocate. And I wrote books. They are about my life. They are a true story, and they reflect like all sessions of my life, ages. So they're not only just regular books, they're book for your like they self-help, like mental health books as well. As you reading my books, I pull you in along with me as you're reading it. So each chapter, I ask questions to the readers. I pull them in, I give them affirmations, I give them like a Bible scripture, like a time in my life, whatever scripture I use when I was praying and fasting, as well as I give them a closing, and I just kind of pull them in by like asking them different questions and keeping them pulling them in with everything that I use and the tools that I use to help me get through that part of my life. So that's what I do.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Miss Kalise. Thank you. So tell us the writing process of these two books.
So my writing process with both of these books, I was in different places in my life. So like the first book, I kind of like reflected off my life like now and like past relationships, as well as me still transitioning, because even in my books, like I'm still learning and growing every day. And the No Longer Silence is the sequel to the first one, which I touch back. I go all the way back to childhood trauma, the emotional roller coaster lessons, just like I said, just all the way from childhood. And then I'm like coming back, kind of like doubling back to now, like giving more insight on the first book, but just opening up more. So that's how I wrote them, to be able
Which
to reflect like my whole life and to help.
which one of those two books are hard for you to write?
The second one, No Longer Silence, was really hard for me to write.
Why is that?
Because I actually touched back, I went all the way back to childhood traumas and questions and, my whys and, you know, different reasons why I did do different things and, the shaping of me, becoming a woman, a teenager, a woman, my incarceration, the woman I became while I was incarcerated, as well as getting out after 11 years. So it just touched, like it just kind of like highlighted everything and brought everything back open that I closed, once. So
Mm.
that was all.
Interesting. Miss Kalise. So tell us, do you think you have a follow up for these two books?
Yes, because even with these two books, I also have a community, like a community. My website is Help Heal Nations. So like that helped me to put Help Heal Nations together, because as well as me, as I wrote and was able to release in my books and open up, it helped me to not just only help myself. I've always had a vision of helping nations. So that is how I kind of like came up with writing the books, creating my community, the Help Heal Nations, that platform with my speaking. So that's where it all began.
The first book is titled No Longer Silence. Oh, the second book, right?
Yes.
The second book. So, what does the title mean to you personally? And what was the moment you decide you were done being silent?
So no longer silence. It represents a turning point in my life. Growing up, I was taught like what happens in the house, it stays in the house. So that was the mindset that followed me into my teenage years, adulthood, causing me to keep everything inside, my pain, my losses, and my trauma. So for years, I didn't talk about what happened to me. I carried it silently. Now I'm in a different place in my life. I found my voice and I use it, and not only for healing myself, but for others as well. So this is the book that is like a declaration that I will no longer hide my story. I now speak, and that freedom has changed my life. Can you hear me? Because I can't hear you now.
My apologies.
That's okay.
And Miss Kelly's, before you wrote, who or what had silenced you? Is it a fear, shame, circumstances, or something else entirely?
It was like a mixture of everything. So like it was just like a combination of fear, combination of shame. It just was like everything just mixing and blending together. And I mean, I that's how I released, and it made me have a different mindset. It just helped me like all the way like far as like my mindset. Um, I guess that's where it all begins. Basically, yes, it was shame,
Hmm.
a lot of shame, actually.
Hmm. The first book, You Left Me, God Bless Me, suggests both abandonment and redemption. Did you write these books in order they happened, or first silence and then leaving, then blessing?
So I wrote them. So like the first book, I I wrote about like just like I wrote about the last couple of years. So like I wrote about like years, like now, like relationships, and actually how I actually have started, like how my mindset is now. So that's more so like now, like highlights on and sit. So it like it gave me like I'm at a better place in my life. I can open up now, I can talk, I can feel free to talk, and I just when I did the sequel and I doubled back to No Longer Silence, I actually went all the way back. So took it back and then brought it back to the front for it. And I gave like the extra, like I gave a little bit more to the readers than I did the first time, is what I should say.
Interesting. Miss Kalise, was there a specific person, moment, or rock bottom that you pick up the pen and start telling your truth?
So like throughout like all the years that I would like take notes. I would like have notebooks, sticky notes, and just writing notes of different highlights of my life. But at those times, I was not ready to like put it in a book because I was still at a place where I was still silent. So just to recently, these last couple of years, then I really just started like reading over my notes, going back and praying, and I start my days different now. So as I started changing my mindset, waking up in the morning, started my days different, started my thinking process different, that gave me the courage and start shaping and forming my mind and me to be able to speak about it now. So then I just started writing. So November 21st, You Left Me, God Bless Me was published. And then December the 27th, No longer silence. Back to back, 30 days later.
Congratulations,
Thank
Miss
you.
Calise. For many survivors, silence became a survival mechanism. Was there a time when staying quiet kept you safe, and how this same silence later becomes a prison?
So, the first thing that I say, like, the first thing I tell people is to find some type of form of spiritual grounding because I don't judge anyone's like spiritual connection, but I believe everyone needs something that keeps them centered because trauma doesn't disappear overnight. But when you develop a spiritual and emotional foundation, you begin to release the shame. And that's when the healing in many forms and speaking and writing and praying and reflecting. Um, what's important is that the trauma is dealt with a in a is dealt with in a heavy way, not through substance, not through avoidance, but through intentional healing. You deserve peace and not just survival. So that's how I deal with that.
Hmm. Wow, interesting. Interesting, Miss Calise. When you finally spoke, what is the single explosive moment or slow, painful unfurling? What did the first words feel like leaving your mouth?
So just I guess I would say finding the courage to speak honestly and openly, and that has been the most powerful part of my healing. Whether it was through these books, conversations, or interviews, I just speak my truth, not a theory, not options. It's real life, and every time I do, it heals me and empowers others. So
Mm, definitely, yes. And who is the first person you trusted with the truth? And how did their response shape whether you would keep speaking or retreat back into silence?
actually, that's a very, very, very deep question, but really, I would say myself in the Lord.
Mm,
That's the first person that I opened up and started talking to because I haven't always been able to do that. And because I didn't really understand. See, I always had a lot of whys. So I never really understood and knew how to actually open up to be able to hear or even know which direction to go in. So that's the first I guess is not a physical person, but spiritually, that was good enough for me.
mm-hmm, certainly. And you left me such a raw, direct title. Are you willing to share who you is and what is the person? Is system a version of God or something else?
No, it was just a version of my life and everyone that has been in my life. So it wasn't just like a specific person, one person, two people. It's my whole life. And that's just the way I've always felt. I've always felt like I got left or was left behind. So now I don't worry about that anymore. That's like the farthest thing from my mind. If you leave, you just leave. But one thing that I do know when I do feel that way, I always be blessed. You know, I always keep going. I always keep pushing, going straight forward. So I'm blessed to be able to do that versus everything that I've been to and still have my right mind. So it's not a specific person. It's just my life. That's how I came up with that.
Mhm. You're talking about yourself. Indeed.
Yeah.
Abandonment often carries double pain: the loss itself, the shame of being the one who was not kept. Did you carry shame about being left, or if so, how do you begin to shed it?
Mm, I think for me, it's more so like it's just like more of um I just kind of, like, so like we all have different stages and different points in our life where we shame. We did something where we shamed, where I experienced a lot of shame and a lot of abandonment, so I just it was like a back and forth thing for me for my whole life. If I didn't feel shame of something, I was abandoned. I felt left. So what I just started doing is I write a lot of notes. I still write notes. Like I write sticky notes about things that a normal person probably wouldn't even write a note about or sticky note, or I'm always writing something down. People don't even understand or know what they've been looking at, but I do. So that's what I think, that I've always been the type of person that note take, and I go back and I keep reading over it and I put it in my mind and I try to make it better. Not so much when I was younger, because I just, again, like I said, I had a lot of whys and I didn't understand a lot of things. But as I'm getting older, I go back and I reflect on those notes, and it helps me to open up. When I get to reading and writing and typing, I open up, and that helps me release and open up. And then when I know that I can say something or share something with others that help them, that helps me release, like close all old wounds of shame, abandonment. It makes me feel like powerful, like just to know that I'm in a place now in my life where I can release it, I can open up, and I don't feel no hurt. I feel good about it.
Miss Calise, as an author, what are your short-term and long-term goals?
I would say, as an author, so my main thing is to continue to work on myself as an author. Like I said, my books aren't just regular books. They're books to, like, it's helping me releasing is helping other people feel strong enough to be able to release and find their self. So with all of that, that helps me in being an author, and it helps me, even if it's 100 people that read my books. As long as I reach one person, I'm okay with that. That makes me feel good to be able to reach someone.
Mm, certainly. Good luck to your goals and looking forward for more success, Miss Calise. And what would be your piece of advice for those people out there want to be an author like you?
Well, what I would tell people is I hope that, they walk in faith, hope, and that they use tools to help them be able to walk in faith and hope. And I want them to start their days off differently. Starting your day off different, when you start, however you start your day, that is really true. That's how your day kind of ends. So everything is changing your mind. It's a mindset. So feeding their spirit positive things instead of negative, that definitely helps. Healing, because healing is a lifestyle, transformation is a mindset. And as long as you know those two things and you don't just stay stuck, you're doing things to help you get there, where you can change your mind, where you do want to be better, go for it.
Mm.
If it's picking up someone's book, reading it, and the book can help push you, and do it. Whatever you do, if you jog, you work out, you run, you do cardio, you do affirmations, whatever it is, do it. Do not stay stuck in the same mindset.
Well, thank you for that advice, Miss Calise. Truly, truly empowering. And can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
Yes. So both of my books are on Amazon and they are on Barnes and Nobles, as well as my website is Help Heal Nations with an S, helphealnations.com. If you get on there, I also have, like, I offer services, like if you need to talk one on one. I have like a healing session on there. I have information on the website about that, more about that. You could purchase the books. You could purchase, again, like I said, I have different little programs on there. So if they go to the website and get to clicking on the icons, they'll see the different services and stuff that I do provide to help people.
Certainly. To help people. Thank you for the recommended book. Miss
No.
Calise. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you could sit across from someone who is currently living at the first book, Still Silence, and whisper one thing in their ear, what would it be?
Change your mindset.
Mindset, people. And before we wrap up our discussion for today, Miss Kalise, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, because my
Okay.
abstract essay is already in sixth season abstract poetry in third season, and of course my book 101 review in sixth season too, comedy 101 fourth season, and my food 101 in sixth season as well. Geography 101, love letters, movie 101 review, music 101 are in fifth season, science 101, sex 101 fourth season, and trivia 101, spiritual awakening 101, motivation 101, mental health 101, entrepreneurship 101, law 101, coaching 101, and of course my Bible verses 101 are my baby podcast. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So Miss Kelly's, what's the next for you? Now that you've broken the silence and documented the blessings, what story do you still needed to tell?
Well, in my second book and my sequel, I'm basically letting the readers know that it will be something else. I will have a one more book coming out for that. And I also have some more like I will be getting in film production. I'm working on that as well. And I got like so much going on. Like the launching of both of the books will be like in the next probably like 45 days. So I'm busy. I'm busy.
Busy, busy, yes. And looking forward for that, Miss Kelly. So can you please invite our listeners to support your books, your advocacy, or whatever project that you're doing right now?
Yes. So like I was saying, I am on like Amazon and Barnes and Nobles. I'm on other websites too, but those are the two biggest ones. So I know most people go on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. So they can definitely go on there and they can get the books on there. I have paperback, hardback, and I do have an ebook. And I also have some journals and bookmarks too. But if they go on my website, they'll be able to see the journals and the bookmarks. They won't see those on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles. But I have all of that. I have for the readers that's really ready to get into it and for me to pull you all the way in. Like I said, I offer journals and bookmarks as well. So those are
Mm.
available to purchase too.
Yes, people, let's support Miss Kelly's White because if you support her for sure, more and more empowering books like this to rise. I have one more question, Miss Kelly's. What has been the most unexpected or moving response you've received from reader, and has someone see their own story in yours?
It's what I've seen is helping people be more braver, and it's there. People are speaking now. They're being able to open up more. So they see me do it, so it's giving them bravery to be able to do it. So they're doing it now. So I feel good about that.
Miss Kelly's White, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're most welcome. More to come, people. See you soon.